Alrighty then, so yesterday we did an old Coda weapon, today we're gonna do a new Coda weapon. Now this weapon carries with it a little bit of confusion because not only does its name kind of sound like the dual Toxocyst, it kind of looks like it as well. But believe you me when I say that this is no dual Toxocyst, this is the dual Coda Torxica, a pair of Mastery Rank 17 fully automatic secondaries. They do primarily slash damage with a nice chunk of puncture on the side, they sport a 25% crit chance with a 2.4 times crit multiplier and a 28% status chance, and they also have a rather large magazine of 160 rounds with a reload of 2.3 seconds. Additionally, enemies killed by the dual Torxica release an infectious spore that seeps into nearby enemies, making them vulnerable to damage from the dual Torxica, giving you a 1.5x multiplier against them, while periodically proccing Coda on them as well. Now because it is a Coda weapon, the only way to get it is by engaging with the Technosite Coda system, so you need to make your infested boy band and then stab it a bunch to get the resources to then buy the weapon from Eleanor. So yeah, let's give it a shot, shall we? I'm not surprised some people think this is an incarnation of the dual Toxocyst. That is a very easy mistake to make. Now, while I don't like the radiation very much, we can eventually change it, and I really want to try these out, so let's buy them. All of the Coda weapons are an absolute 10 out of 10, looks-wise anyway. Oh, blimey, I did not expect that. That is very pew-pew-ish, isn't it? So he kills something. Aha, that's a rather nice visual, very clean. And then, okay, so it procs the cold periodically. And we should also get a damage multiplier against these guys. Let's get in all this stuff. So a potato and an adapter. And I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to build this. So let's try a few things. It does seem fairly accurate, so I want to try Acuity. Let's see how much crit we're gonna get out of this. That seems promising. We get a decent amount of crit, and it kind of works with the unique mechanic because cold procs on enemies give you more crit damage and all that, so that's good. Another thing I definitely want to try is secondary cucumber. I want to see if the secondary cold procs from the effect trigger cucumber as well. That is a definite yes, my dudes and dudettes. So that's another option. It is a little bit slow, but you can kind of pre-prime the enemies for yourself, which is really neat. I also want to try Cascadia Empowered. I want to see if the cold procs will actually do damage because of this. Okay, so that's a no, unfortunately. Let's try to make some kind of a cucumber setup then. And for now, primed heated charge. Alright, so now it's ramping up. Okay, so that's definitely a thing we can do. Faux show. Yeah, this ain't too bad. I am not loving the radiation. It makes it much more difficult to headshot them. Would very much recommend against radiation. I think Acuity is gonna be even worse because of the radiation thing, but I do want to try it out. Swap this around. I actually don't think this is worth it anymore, because you don't get that much more crit. And we're losing multi-shot, which is very much not a good thing. I didn't even think about Enervate because of the crit chance, but we could try it. So yeah, let's snap in Prime Target Cracker and give it a shot. I think this is the way to go. This feels the best out of everything we've tried so far. There's a little bit of a ramp up because we're only getting base damage from Galvanized Shot at the moment, but that's fine. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. Definitely feels the best. Let's switch Harrow to Viral. Oh, hell yeah. This is very, very strong. Like, it's surprising level of strong, because you have to bear in mind we're missing like half the mods still. This is gonna be an absolute banger, isn't it? Is that a mixtape on the ground? Yes, it is. That's rather unideal. Boy band assembled. Oh damn! Shreddage. That is some proper shreddage. Again, we are missing like half the mods. Okay, 1v coming right up. There we go. Organization. Lovely. Magnetic Might feels like a really good fit here. I am very glad we didn't go the Acuity or even like a Crosshairs route, so we don't have to go for headshots, because this is an extremely comfy weapon. I don't know, maybe we could add a little bit more fire rate. I don't know, this feels about right though. I know some people don't get this, and it's fine, but when it comes to fire rate, I like to go by feel. Some weapons just feel better when they don't have a ton of fire rate. It's very rare for me to max out fire rate by any means necessary. Okay, for now, let's put in stunning speed, but eventually I would like to go with corrosive here. And there we go. Okay, this should do it. There it is. It actually ended up being a bit of a rainbow build. We have corrosive, heat, radiation, and magnetic. I want to do a quick Harold-less test so you can see what it does without a priming pet. Oh yeah, this is absolutely banging. Look at this. Yeah, this thing is huge. There's a bit of a fluctuation in the DPS because of Enervate, right? Sometimes the crit's a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower, but overall, fabulous. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed when I found out that the spores don't actually do any damage because I kind of expected them to, but yeah, I don't mind it at all. This is an absolute banger of a gun. I'm not 100% sure about the valence bonus, though since this ended up being a bit of a rainbow build, I think the radiation actually kind of fits. Yeah, this is just a very comfy gun. I like it. Ah, mother...
Krakata.
You absolute fanny. It's so violently bright. Yeah, I think this is the way to go here. Just a rainbow enervate setup. Good stuff. Dude, this thing melts acolytes. Love it. So here's the final setup for the dual Coda Torxica. We have Lethal Torrent and Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot and a bit of fire rate. Galvanized Shot for status chance and condition overload, which is very important because it's actually the only source of our base damage, so make sure you run the galvanized version, otherwise you're gonna have no base damage. Then we have Prime Target Cracker for crit damage, Magnetic Might for even more crit damage and magnetic damage as well, Prime Heated Charge for a ton of heat, and Pistol Pestilence with Jolt for corrosive damage and status chance. For our Arcane, we have Secondary Enervate, which takes care of all of our crit, so we don't have to mod for crit chance, which is always really nice. It saves you some mod space, though it does result in the damage fluctuating a little bit as the Enervate is charged and then consumed. Now, while a good priming pet is always a good idea, it doesn't make a massive difference in this case because we're running a bit of a rainbow build with decently high status chance, so we're actually priming most things ourselves by just shooting stuff. However, it is a good idea to squeeze in Vito somewhere, whether it be via a priming pet or by just running Nourish. This is an extremely solid, very comfy secondary with a cool unique mechanic. It absolutely rips through Steel Path and it does it without any additional help, so you can run whatever pet you want and whatever frame you want, which is always nice. So I would highly recommend you give this one a shot. It's fantastic. Now, while my build is pretty damn strong, if I may say so myself, I can definitely see some potential in maybe a slash damage over time build, so you would get like a Toxin or a code-based Torxica, run Vito and then focus on slash. I can see that being absolutely devastating with the vulnerability as well as the extra code procs. So while I do very much recommend you try out my setup, I would also recommend you play around with different setups and maybe you'll find something even better. And that's pretty much what I have for you today, so I thank you very much for watching as always guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.